Hey, Mike.
Hey Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I've been really excited about Story School, one of the main programs that we are running at STLI this year. And you are spearheading the whole program and putting it all together. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit about it. So Story School has, for me, been developing for a long time. The idea is to give students the skills that they need to tell more effective stories, to communicate more effectively in kind of a multimodal form. They're really used to writing papers, they're good at writing papers, but there's a lot more out there that they could be doing.
When we have a class that's looking to do a multimodal assignment, something that isn't a standard paper, what does it look like when they come into STLI and get your help planning the assignment and then working through it and doing it together?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that we love to do is we love to give the teacher and the students a model for thinking about telling stories, about communicating stories. And so we show them that model. It's kind of an iterative model where they consume the story, they analyze it, then they figure out how to do it themselves, how to produce that. They have a bunch of scaffolded steps that they want to learn about storytelling, about the technical skills they might need to know. And that allows them to produce it. And then we want them to do this last step, which is to assess what it is that they've produced and kind of come full circle. So it's not really an assignment as much as it is a study of the communication type that it is that they're studying. So we're actually looking at podcasts as a communication type, and they'll study it in their class, and then they'll also practice with their own models.
Okay. So if there is a podcast assignment, they're going to start by listening to other podcasts, exemplary podcasts about maybe similar topics, produce the podcast, and then there's that last assessment step to sort of learn from the process and maybe move into another iteration of CASPA.
Exactly. And so we do a little bit of that structure, and then we talk a little bit about storytelling generally, what makes for compelling stories. So there are a few things that we do in our consultations up front, and then we talk to faculty members about how they might want to talk about that in their syllabus, and how they might want to construct the assignments throughout the semester to get the most out of those scaffolded assignments as possible. And we can, as the Studio for Teaching and Learning Innovation, we can meet with the student groups a couple of times in the semester and show them those kind of scaffolded steps that they might want to do. And then our student partners will also be available to really get into the nitty-gritty and show them how to do those storytelling skills, how to do the technical skills, and give them practice.
Yeah. As one of those student partners, that's one of the pieces of this puzzle I'm most excited about, is the students coming in and being a part of the teaching process, but then also learning this model with everyone and sort of helping develop this program overall.
Yeah. And that's one of the, for me, that's one of the big joys of doing Story School, is working with our student partners and kind of modeling for them how they might be effective consultants and effective teachers. And that to me is the best, because we're not only teaching our students how to teach, but we're also getting our students to teach the students in the courses.
Mm-hmm. This last class that we worked with, I taught a lesson on how to edit audio, and we all pulled open our laptops and we started messing with the audio together, and it felt like we did all gain at least a couple of tips or skills along the way. And so for some people, it was their first time editing audio at all. What are some other skills that you think might come out of this? What are some of those specific things that might be put into that scaffold that classes might not otherwise get to experience?
Yeah, what we have so far is we've got our storytelling skills that are a certain subset. So things like being a better interviewer, or doing a TED Talk, or finding the story pitch, finding what that elevator pitch is and honing that. So those are some of the storytelling skills that we can offer. Then there are lots of technical skills because, as much as you want it to be about the story, unless you've got that technical basis, it's very difficult to tell a story, right? I mean, if you don't know how to write, you can't write a story. So it just goes. It's just as a matter of course that if you wanted to tell a story in a multimodal way, the more you know, the more skills you have, the better the story is going to be. The easier it's going to be for you to do the story. But we at STLI, we like to modulate how complex the technical aspects are, because I want there to be greater value than just in that class. I want the students to be able to take that technical skill that we've taught them, or that we've allowed them to get better at, and use it somewhere else. And if I don't think that this is a technical skill that has real value, I try not to teach it. I try not to include it in story school. So when we teach students web development, it's very practical. It's basically, we do a Google site, and we love to incorporate the storytelling aspects of building a website along with the technical aspects. What makes a good website is not just knowing the technology, it's not just knowing the techniques. It's understanding how to put that thing together to tell an effective story. You got to have both.
Right. Yeah. The mode of storytelling is going to entirely change the way that you tell that story and what you might focus on. It's a new lens through which to look, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. Well, this sounds really awesome, and I know a lot of professors might be really interested in joining this program. What are some ways that they could reach out and maybe become a part of this?
Well, if they're just curious and they don't want to reach out to us, they can just look us up on the web. We've got a Story School website at storyschool.gs, stands for Google Sites, .wm.edu. Or they can just write to me at mxblum@wm.edu.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Mike.
Thank you.